תהיה גמרא הסוכה. Good morning, Larry. How was the which reflections do you have from Rosh Yom Kippur this year?
Well, on the Al Chetz, as we talked about so many times, how many of the Al Chetz are related to what we do with our own mouths?
Yep. People are afraid to look at it this way, of course.
Good morning, Larry.
Okay, Tov, I called you Erev Yontif. I was worried about you. I hadn't seen you on the chat in a while, Mal.
It's a little. I'm sorry, Rabbi. Hey, Larry.
As long as you're okay, Mal, that's the most important thing.
I'm good, but with the silly chot every day, I've been getting the class. Jojo's been recording and he sent it to me every day.
Good.
Your comments. You've been talking enough for both of us.
Thank you, Mal. Enjoy the day and be good year. Rabbi Prague. Okay. Rabbi Prague.
Hot spot here in the room.
Rabbi Prague.
Okay, I'm trying to.
Okay, Dav comes out. Okay, if you freeze again, Eli will come in now.
Thank you, Eli.
No, Rabbi, look at this thing.
Hi.
How are you, Eli? Thank you.
I froze about it.
It's frustrating.
No, obviously.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I never thought you would get frustrated with something like this. We do. We get in the business. Drives us
No,
crazy.
only because it's here.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh, the bookshelves are gorgeous. For Chabad.
Rabbi Prague.
Yes.
Also, the tefillah when the Kohen, I don't know if the Sfardim have it, the tefillah when the Kohen Gadol comes out of the Beit, out of the Kodesh HaKadashim, and he says, "Shelo yitztarchu amcha zo lazeh v'lo la'am acher." How appropriate! Now we don't need someone else. Oh, we froze again. Maybe I'm gonna move. Maybe it's me.
Here we go.
So what do you think is going to happen?
Like I said, I think there's not enough what they call bandwidth. That there's so much going on. That's like
You said that there's so many people using the internet.
that it gets. That's what I think.
Could we have a designated task? Could we get such a thing?
Separate cable connection into the shore. I don't think so.
Anyway, that's totally the hotspot.
Yes.
Anyway, opened up Masechet Sukkah 27a.
27a, okay.
The Mishnah says, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, 14 סעודות חייב אדם לאכול בסוכה, אחת ביום ואחת בלילה. According to Rabbi Eliezer, the mitzvah replaces, substitute your house. In your house you eat 2 meals a day, so you must eat 2 meals a day. Total is 14. חכמים אומרים, חכמים disagree, and this is the halacha. אין הדבר כצבא, you can eat as many times as you want, but חוץ מלילי יום טוב הראשון של חג בלבד. On the first night, or Bayas and Chutz La'aretz, the first 2 nights, you must eat in the sukkah. Okay.
Maybe hold the same with Pesach. You have to eat matzah twice, or whenever
We'll
you
see,
get to
we'll
eat.
see. Let's see the Gemara. Yes.
No.
So let's look at the Gemara. מהי טעמה דרבי אליעזר? תשבו כאין תדורו. The Torah says, "Basukot teishvu shivat yamim."
Oh, I don't-
Teishvu means
Yes.
that the sukkah becomes a substitute for your house. It's like your dira, your apartment. Says Rabbi Eliezer, "Ma dira in your house." In the time of the Gemara, at least, used to eat only 2 meals a day, a brunch and supper. מה דירה אחת ביום ואחת בלילה, אף סוכה,
Thank you.
אף סוכה אחת ביום ואחת בלילה. So according to Rabbi Eliezer, you must eat twice a day, night and during the day. ברבנן,
Okay,
let's finish a minute.
I understand.
ברבנן, כדירה. The sukkah is exactly like your house. מה דירה, היא באי אחי, היא באי לא אחי. You have a choice. You don't have to eat a main meal in your house. אף סוכה, we are דף כ"ז עמוד א', in the middle, a few lines after the Gemara. אף סוכה, היא באי אחי, היא באי לא אחי. רבנן telling Rabbi Eliezer, the comparison to sukkah is, you have a choice in your house. You don't have to eat.
But that's what Eli's saying about matzah. He says, like, the first day of matzah, you have to eat. If you don't want to eat the next, I think that's what Eli was saying.
We are about to read the next 3 lines, which covers what you are saying and Eli said. Ihachi, and this is the main point of Ihachi, if so, afilu laila rishon nami. If so how come you have a choice on the first night? Why am I obligated to eat the first night? So here comes Amar Rabbi Yochanan b'shum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochadak. נאמר כאן 15. Sukkot is on the 15th of Tishrei. And so is Pesach, ונאמר 15 בחג המצות. This is a gzera shava. We cannot make this comparison. This is a gzera shava b'Sinai, tetvav, tetvav. The Torah is linking the 2 holidays. Ma lehalan, by Pesach. Laila rishon chova. You must eat matzah the first night of Pesach. Mikan ve'elach the rest of Pesach. You have a choice to eat rice or to eat vegetables, but you are not obligated to eat matzah. You must eat matzah the first night. Afkan, by Sukkot also, Laila harishon chova, you must eat bread in the sukkah the first night. Mikan ve'elach, from then on reshut.
Isn't bread always the vehicle that we use to move a holiday in? Shabbat, to do it properly, bread, I mean, it's not the same thing to do.
Ve'atam minala. How do you know that by Pesach you have to eat, you must eat matzah the first night? And the Gemara says, ba'erev tochlu matzot. The Torah says, even if you don't have Korban Pesach, even if you don't have matzah or maror, but it's a chova. Yeah, what's your question, Mel?
The same way it says in Pesach, the vehicle to bring you into the holiday is matzah.
Whatever you know is written here. We just read it.
I'm agreeing.
In the last 1800 years,
I'm agreeing. I'm saying, so the same way we know the vehicle on Shabbat is bread.
Shabbat is mid'Rabbanan, Pesach is min Torah. Again, Shabbat is mid'Rabbanan. You don't have to. But Pesach is min Torah, the same as Tefillin, the same as Lulav, the same as Sukkah. Sukkot is min Torah to eat the first night bread. Shabbat is only mid'Rabbanan. So this is why the Gemara doesn't mean Shabbat b'chlal. Let's look at the Tosafot.
So Sukkot, when you say eat, where does it say
The first night.
Why can't I do Bezanot?
This is why you learn now. This is a Shava from Pesach.
Aha.
Now you're asking a very good question.
First night only.
Well, he says maybe cake. The answer is the same way the first night of Pesach, you have to eat bread, which is matzah. So is the first night of Sukkot. So this comparison, talk about the first, no Shabbat, again,
It's not good. I didn't know.
Shabbat, the good food on Shabbat is only with the Rabbanan. Here we talk about Dinim in the Torah. Shabbat, you don't have to eat meat, and Pesach and Shavuot and Sukkot in the Torah, you have to try to eat meat.
Meat and wine.
Meaning what?
Yain
The
Basar.
holidays is Doraita, Shabbat is
But
not.
this is,
Doraita.
you got the
No,
answer, you
yeah.
got the answer. This question was a good question, let's see.
One of the Tosafot you said?
Yeah, let's look at the Tosafot. Tosafot bring a Yerushalmi. Tosafot are bringing a Yerushalmi that learns the same Derasha. Let's go to the second half of Tosafot. Tosafot דיבור המתחיל תשבו. Tosafot דיבור המתחיל תשבו. Look towards the end of Tosafot. Chavraya Bau. This is 4 lines before the end of Tosafot. Chavraya Bau. You see the word Chavraya? 5 lines. Listen carefully now. Chavraya Bau. אמר להלן עד שייכנס למצע כשירות העבה, אף כאן, עד שייכנס לסוכה בתאווה, which means, on Erev Pesach, the halacha is that you're not permitted to eat in the afternoon,
Right.
because part of the mitzvah is to eat the matzah with a good appetite. Perhaps the Gezerah Shava is here also.
Don't eat no bread.
Eat no bread in the
No
afternoon
bread.
to make exactly. And they continue. Rabbi Zeira Abaye, Imar lehalan ad שיאכל כזית דגן בסוכה, אף כאן עד שיאכל כזית דגן. So this is touching a little bit what Mel said before about eating bread that is not completely bread. Let's say it's a sweet bread, and by Pesach, if you put some good stuff on your matzah, you did not fulfill your mitzvah. Yes?
Make it sweet.
The first kazait matzah that you eat, you cannot eat with flavors. It has to be the matzah itself. How about eating matzah shira, matzah that was baked with
Egg matzah.
egg matzah and sweets, and the Yerushalmi is mistapeh. What is the safek of the Yerushalmi? And besides here, the Yerushalmi is not sure, is Erev Pesach like Erev Sukkot? Is Erev Sukkot like Erev Pesach, and you are not permitted to eat anything or not? So let's look at the Rambam, a fascinating Rambam. You have the Rambam in front
Now,
of you.
even on a regular Shabbat, we should not have bread after Hatzot, right? Generally, we avoid having bread after Hatzot.
Right. But again, as
Is
we
the same
said,
logic or because of?
yeah, there is a common denominator
Yeah.
there, but of course,
Can I
it's
get
not
one?
very far.
We have any more? Would you prefer
In
this
fact, you
one?
said it was,
Would
we
you
said
prefer this one?
it's not a halacha like Pesach, but it's good not to mix the bread with, like even on Shabbat, where you're allowed to mix olives or whatever you want.
Now
with the-
let's look at the Rambam.
That's not that's the only stringency. I don't have that stringency on Sukkot.
This is the Yerushalmi wants to know, do we have the same or not? Look at the Rambam Sefer Zmanim, which you have in front of you. Look at Chod Sukkah, Perek Vav, Halacha Zayin. Chod Sukkah. And you have 2 more Rambams here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. Okay.
The Rambam is a master organizer, and the Rambam is going with the Seder Perek Vav. It's interesting to see that the Rambam is putting together. I think Larry, you asked it before Rosh Hashanah. The Rambam is combining Hilchot Shofar, Sukkah, and Lulav. The reason he's doing it is because the Rambam modeled his books after the Mishnayot, Mishneh Torah.
Oh.
The Mishnayot are the minimum Mishnayot in any Masechet is 3. Since the Rambam did not have 3, 4, he removes Shofar and Sukkah. Look at Perek Vav, okay? Perek Vav, here you have it. Halacha Zayin. Perek Vav. You have it, Eli? Yeah, you have it?
I have it.
So let's start a second from Halacha. Hey, just to have a clear picture. David, come, we have to start and you have to be inside. No, it's fine, it takes time. But no, it's too precious, it's not Yom Tov, it's Sukkah.
So David, take this book. Take
No,
this.
yeah.
I got it, because I got here later, Rabbi. I'm good.
You, Paul. Pרק ו'
Eli's better than the AI.
פרק ו' הלכה. Says the Rambam, כיצד היא מצוות הישיבה בסוכה. The Rambam is always tuned to the text. הסוכות תשבו 7 ימים. שיהיה אוכל ושותה ודל, dwell, בסוכה כל 7 הימים, בין ביום ובין בלילה. day and night. כדרך שהודר בביתו, בשאר ימות השנה. This year, for instance, if you hear my son goes to upstate New York, it's going to be freezing.
Yeah.
Right? So they got the special heater, like you have in the restaurants, you know, in the street.
We had them during COVID when we eat outdoors.
Right.
Propane.
And the reason is you have to feel, it's like your
Comfortable.
house, if you bring to your house a heater, you have it also. סעיף ה' בכל 7 הימים עושה האדם את ביתו ארעי. If you are able, you have to make your house a temporary dwelling. ואת סוכתו קבע. Your sukkah is permanent, שנאמר, בסוכות תשבו 7 ימים. כיצד? כלים הנאים זה...
How far are you supposed to go with that?
Well, you know and I know that everyone, this is one of those halachot.
Okay, what a heater, those heaters,
Right.
they take the nip out, but they
Right,
don't
right,
take it
right.
warm.
You sit there shivering
Especially when
sometimes.
it's gonna be 55 in the city, it's gonna be 45 in the
Right.
mountains.
So the question is
And your
really,
hands are cold no matter what. You have the coat on.
in a minute, we'll talk about it in a minute. בכל כיצד, see the Rambam, in an unusual way, is giving us examples. Well, you said it already, make it כיצד, כלים הנאים, the nice place, ומצאות הנאות, the couches, בסוכה, כלי שיטה, כלי שתייה, whatever, בסוכה, אבל כלי אכילה, כגון גדרות, pots, pans, חוץ לסוכה, המנורה בסוכה. Now, to be, see, Paul's question was very much to the point. But it's not only this year because it's cold. The question is, if we take it seriously, so I understand every day you have to go to work, but to go into the sukkah, just in Yiddish you say Yotzezayim, that's a still. You read the Times every day, you read it there, yes? If you are assuming, yes, assuming you are crazy about baseball, watch it there. If it's too cold, this is the excuse that everyone has.
So how do you bring your library into your sukkah, Rabbi Prague?
Come to my library, I have a Rambam,
You know what I'm saying to you, but
We have a gorgeous library here.
Take the loaded iPad.
It says take the loaded iPad, says
no,
Paul.
I'm saying for Rabbi Prague, I can imagine his sukkah must look like a library. I can imagine.
But last year I was trying to
really
see
neat.
there every free moment I had. But this year Paul is saying it's difficult. The answer is it's difficult, and I'll give you a good example. A kid came once on Monday in school, he says, guess where I was yesterday? I'm asking the old man. Anyway, he flew to Buffalo to watch a ball game. But the temperature in Buffalo was
zero.
No, not zero, but in the
Cold enough.
30s. So
You
I
could
told
do it for
him
the
you
ball
can
game.
sit in the comfort of your dining room and watching the game. He looks to me, Rabbi, I was there. No.
I didn't go to any football games in the cold weather. I'm not.
And this is a Paul says very good. He said, this is not going to be.
I had plenty of opportunity and I never went.
Okay, 20 years ago when the Met game was in playoffs, it was pouring and I was there with my kid. Today, when they were going, I said, you know what, let me watch it on the
Really?
TV. Yeah.
It's
No,
insane.
but this is the point. The point is, if it's חשוב to us,
Yeah, no, those are
it's חשוב.
priorities.
זה באים, לא יודע, בגלל שזה פוטבול, זה חשוב, flew to Buffalo, can you imagine? No, but the point is, of course it's cold, so you have to really get dressed well. Now, if you want to really have an incentive, let's look
And
at the
incentives
Chumash.
to sit in the cold rain sukkah.
We only
It's
know
not-
the books, take
Rain is not the cold, rain is not.
The worst of all of them, do you remember a few years ago, going back, could be.
The bugs also.
Little gnats.
Yeah.
That was disaster. That was, I can't eat.
No, they were falling on the plates.
You remember that, Ron, I'm going back 10,
Falling on
20
the
years.
plates.
But that you pick up.
Some
of course,
people
of
are
course.
crazy, some people say you're not allowed to.
Well, listen, we did that.
I don't know, you find somebody's gonna tell you, you're gonna find somebody's gonna tell you you're not allowed to.
No, that year, but too.
Crazy gnats everywhere flying, it was crazy.
Okay.
We've had that situation.
In Parashat Re'eh,
They used to spray.
during the holiday, we read.
You're right, maybe if you spray, you don't get the normal, good idea.
Listen,
This year you won't have.
but the point is,
It's cold enough not to get one.
but the point is, legally you can have all the excuses you want. I mean, this is the point. The point is, let's try, okay, to spend some more time. Really, if you want an incentive, listen to the Chaim Kanievsky said. Parashat Re'eh. Now you open Parashat Re'eh. Chag HaSukkot. Which page?
I spent a lot of time there.
10:20, right. No, but I'm saying, even if you go for breakfast, well, even if you go for
No, but at least let's say I usually
Yeah,
sit out,
you know,
I have bread.
whatever you
You know,
know,
I come
I just
home,
want
you
to-
eat dinner,
you
I
make one, it's like,
No,
well,
it's
Yeah, no, you're beautiful.
And plus you have 40 people that smoke.
look a second at page 1020, Perek Tezayin,
10:22,
Farim
10:22.
Tezayin, no, first 1020. First let's look on Pesach.
Oh, Pesach, okay.
You like, look in Pesach. שמור את חודש האביב,
Pasuk Aleph.
ועשית פסח להשם אלוקיך, כי בחודש האביב הוציאך השם אלוקיך ממצרים. Fine. Now listen good. וזבחת פסח להשם אלוקיך, קורבן פסח,
Yeah.
צאן ובקר, במקום אשר יבחר השם משכן שמו השם. Make sure you bring קורבן פסח מבית המקדש. Right? Let's look now in Sukkot. בסוכות, איפה את כתוב את הקורבן?
Perak
Yes.
Pasuk Gimel.
Look at חג הסוכות תעשה לך.
Yud Gimel by the master.
But I'm looking for the korban of Sukkot. So let's look a second at just a minute.
So go back to Bamidbar, then you'll find in Bamidbar.
Maybe in Parashat Pinchas. Larry says, maybe in Bamidbar, but where is the Achilah?
Question why they list the Quebec and not the other.
Let's look a second.
Unless it's Emor, could it be an Emor too?
Might be in a more. Okay,
Let's ask you.
let's look. One is right on all the three. And more is also the korbanot. Let's look a second in Parashat Emor. Emor is in Sefer Vayikra. We can see in Emor, there's no mention of the korbanot b'chlal.
So then it should be Pinchas, no?
688, 688 is it?
Yes, it is.
Well,
Rosh Hashanah, it's a court.
No, and the Bikurim they have, I'm just getting up to Bikurim they have. I'm looking up to
Purim, but Bikurim is not the korban.
We'll go back.
So I don't know
We'll
about
go
the
back
person.
here on 680,
So look a second. Okay, so let's look at Bamidbar. Okay, Parashat Pinchas. But the same Pinchas also is not talking about the Achila.
Well, it says in Sukkot, it says, wait a minute, Shvat Shamim Takrivu Vishel Hashem.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, look at Parashat Pinchas. You see, he has it right away. And then,
No, I just know it.
Whereas, Shabbat,
so look at the 894. It says Parashat Bamidbar, Chavtet. Remember, we saw in Parashat Re'eh that the Torah emphasizes that the korbanot should be offered and brought, yes, במקום אשר יבחר Hashem, yes. Look here. Yeah. פסוק י"ב, this is Sukkot. וב-15 יום בחודש השביעי, בעזרת השם on Wednesday night, מקרא קודש יהיה לכם, we have to come together, כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו, וחגותם חג להשם 7 ימים, והקרבתם עולה ריח וכוח להשם, ערים בני בקר 13, ערים 2, כבשים בני שנה 14, תמימים, ומנחסם ונזקיהם. The Torah doesn't mention here the word,
All right, so not here, but it does elsewhere. That's it says Shalosh Pamim Bashana Yereh Kol Zucher Chad Pnei Hashem Rekam B'Chaga Matzot B'Chaga Sukkot B'Chaga Shavuot. Not just here. It's that's we have it in the top. We have it in the davening. We have it in the davening about Hasienu all the time.
Right. Paul says this is the korbanot hatzibur. But I forgot. There is another pasuk that says by Sukkot to bring the korbanot, but the Torah doesn't mention. So Reb Chaim Kanievsky says, שמעתי את זה הבוקר מאחיך, your brother told me to be the first minyan, but I didn't pay attention to the psukim. He says, the Zohar says, since the Sukkah is like Beit HaMikdash, the Torah doesn't want to mention במקום אשר יבחר Hashem, because by Sukkot you have 2 places. שיבחר Hashem, your Sukkah and your house. You know what I mean? But I have tomorrow I'll have the psukim clear. I have to see the book of Reb Chaim Kanievsky inside. But since you're already holding here, so go to Parashat Emor again, and then we'll go back to the Yerushalmi that wants to know if you have to eat. Are you permitted to eat bread Erev Sukkot in the afternoon? Look a second about Pele. Look again at page 688, Larry, it's Vayikra Chav Gimel Lametet.
Like Pesach, you can't eat. And like
Yerushalmi, we saw the Yerushalmi.
That's what you want the taste, no?
Okay, we'll see that we'll talk about it. אך ב-15 יום לחודש השביעי הזה, ואוספכם את תבואת הארץ, החוגו את חג השם 7 ימים, אוקיי? אחד הזה, ביום הראשון שבתון וביום השמיני שבתון. ולקחתם לכם ביום הראשון, פרי עץ הדר, לולב, כפות מרים, פרי עץ הדר זה אתרוג, כפות מרים זה לולב, ענף עצמות זה הדסים, ולערבות. וחגותם חג להשם 7 ימים. Then, בסוכות תשבו 7 ימים. You see the bottom there?
Yeah.
Now,
which is more important then? Why would they start with they would start there? Why wouldn't they start Basukot Tishvu Yamim? Which is the more chiyuv? Is the chiyuv of Sukkot, the chiyuv of Esrog and Lulav?
And there wants to know.
The drug and the thing is only 1 day.
Right. So the Aruch Laner wants to know how come Masechet Sukkah has 2 chapters first at the halachot of Sukkah. Then Lulav, Etrog, Adasim, Arabot. And here in the Chumash, Paul is open. First we talk about the 4 species, and only then about the Sukkah.
So Rabbi Prague, is this an instance I can't put my hand on it, but is there a difference between Pesach and Sukkot with the Chefs and the Gavra? Something, is it, I might be, I'm off base, I know, but there's something here. Where is there a Chefsa and where is the Gavra?
In a minute. They're both the same, but in a minute you'll see it. So the Chokhmah is to realize, why is Masechet Sukkah beginning with the Sukkah? Because in reality, Wednesday night, there's no time for Lulav and Etrog. The mitzvah begins with Sukkah. Since Talmud Bavli is teaching us what to do, they have
Chronologically,
to.
it's in order.
Well, the Sukkah comes before the Lulav and Esrog, and the Esrog says, Hayom Harishon. And the other one is,
So the obvious question now is, how come the Arba Minim are written here first? Kushia Tuma, see, the point is like this, going back to what the point you made before. Everyone from kindergarten heard many explanations to what the four species symbolize. But the bottom line, all the messages, Rani, summarize, why are we taking the Arba Minim?
Each one is a character trait of the individual, how they should model
this is
themselves.
good for Rabbi's
Oh,
speech.
oh,
I'm asking you.
Why we
No, but it's just, thank God, all the rabbis already did so much Rosh. They did so much on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. They did some stuff with Sukkot.
Meet him at the table for the table with the kids.
But you're right. The bottom line is they are representing differently, right?
Spine,
The point is, when you come to Sukkot 4 days after Yom Kippur, where are you? Are you the Etrog? Are you the Lulav? The Sim or the Aravot? Which means Yom Kippur is not a separate holiday. תשמע, Larry, this is, תקשיב טוב עכשיו. How does the pasuk begin here? אך ב15 יום לחודש השביעי. חודש השביעי. How does Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, read to Luke 6:86? וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל לאמור, בחודש השביעי באחד לחודש, right?
but what is, Rabbi Akiva has all the achs. What is the ach, Mamai? What is the ach, the importance of the ach?
Seven. Yes? Then pasuk 26, אך בעשור לחודש השביעי. So the mitzvot of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot are connected.
It's the season.
It's not one mitzvah of Yom Adin, one mitzvah of Yom Kippur, one mitzvah of Sukkot. It's B'chodesh HaShvi'i. After we completed Yom Kippur yesterday, we are moving into Sukkot. But the four species are supposed to tell a person, where are you? Are you the Arava? Are you the Adasim? The Lulav? The Etrog. Now, the mitzvah of being in the Sukkah pole is part of it, yes?
Now, going back to what you said before then, that's a good reason why the Rambam puts shofar, which is the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, and Lulav, which is the end of this cycle.
This is the depth of the Rambam also, of course.
Make a big analogy. You go into the championship game, you have to wear the right shirt.
The shofar will woke you up. When you up on Yom Kippur, and let's take the two together and see how you practice it in reality. And the practice is that each one of the species, remember on Hoshana Rabbah, everyone is coming and everyone knows the Zohar. What is Hoshana Rabbah? Hoshana Rabbah, Hashem says, it's 2 weeks.
Final four.
It's 2 weeks, 10 days, whatever, after. It's 2 weeks or 10 days after Yom Kippur. That's where you hold it, yes? This is really what it means, the final verdict, yes? Because today is a regular day. By what are we different today, tomorrow, today? This is the Omek. Now let's go back to the Rambam that we began also. Look at the Rambam, back to the Rambam. The Rambam is still open. Look in the Rambam Halacha Vav. I suppose the answer to your question is, how far do we go? הכל תלוי באמת. בישיבת כל יעקב used to have a rabbi, a Kopshitz. Sukkot was over, he went from wall to wall, kissed him. I mean, I knew the story many years, but I cannot bring myself doing it because it's only imitating someone. He felt, it's a shame. Which means the Torah is giving us a golden opportunity according to the Zohar. The same way we could have gone to Beit HaMikdash and been inspired to go into the Sukkah. So of course we have to go to walk, and of course sleeping is all the whatever. No. Saying in reality, yes. Good.
Rabbi, I heard you just spoke about sleeping. Someone mentioned to me that sleeping is a higher mitzvah than eating in a sukkah.
Yeah, whatever he meant. What do you mean?
Because of the sacrifice you're talking, or because
Sleeping in a sukkah, exactly what I meant.
like
Sleeping
living
in a
means
sukkah
sleeping means living.
versus eating in a sukkah. And I couldn't comprehend.
Sleeping
You
in
want to be able to sleep
sleep-
inside, sleep outside and eat inside, is that what you're trying to get?
If you had one item to do, you could sleep in the sukkah or eat in the
The
sukkah.
sleeping mean
I know
like you're
exactly
living
what he
there?
said.
Does it
And he
mean like
said
you're living
sleeping
there?
is a higher level than eating, and I don't know what he's holding. And they said, and then he told me, ask Rabbi Prague.
The point is, I'm afraid to ask you who told it to you,
No, no.
because normally
After
we
the
say,
class, I'll tell you.
no, but don't tell me. Exactly. The main reason is eating in a sukkah takes nothing. It could be 7 to 15 minutes. Sleeping means
you're living there.
taking it seriously. This is basically what it is.
Yeah.
Sleeping in the sukkah means I'm taking it
commitment.
serious.
Really?
Not only this, sleeping, well, okay, I go in with the cold and out. I cannot wait to get out.
Yeah.
Go to sleep, you're sleeping.
That's makes sense.
You lake with 99.9, not 0.1. Sleep in the sukkah. Parents and children, fathers and children. This is the mitzvah.
It's not.
No, but the answer is we have good excuses. I'm not saying we have good excuses.
have
It's
cancer
difficult, this, that, yes. And we can have, as Eli said before, you can have an excuse to eat your whatever you eat in the house, but you're going into the sukkah. It's very nice. Yeah. Again, if the sukkah, the Zohar says, is makom kadosh, the two mitzvot in Judaism, your entire body is there. Mikveh and sukkah. Mikveh and sukkah.
Nice.
So what's the big deal eating in the sukkah? What? You go 7 minutes and you put your fur coat on and your hat and sleep in the sukkah. It's a mitzvah. You do realize that those who sleep don't take a nap. Don't take a nap
Outside.
outside. The nap after the meal in the sukkah. To the point that Chaim Kanievsky was asking his father-in-law, in the late years when he became popular, as always, people invited him to be a sandak everywhere. So he told his father-in-law in Sukkot, when people driving, he falls asleep. Is he permitted to take sandak? Yes, because in the car is those a few minutes, it's chus and sukkah. Avi Yashiv told me, באמת אנוש, זה באמת אנוש, you understand?
Yeah.
Sure. Remember, he's always tired because he was deprived from sleep. Yes?
You should have got like
The
a
car-
sunroof.
The car is very comfortable.
Temperature control.
Temperature שאמר לו מותר לו לצפות שם.
Can you do that, Rabbi?
Look at the Rambam. I know people that used to travel to upstate New York. They took a car with a sunroof and they had
You put the
every
stuff
place they park, they put the schach. Kids that had parents like this never forgot it. You understand? Because you do it.
out of
The
it.
message you give your kids is.
Yeah, but is it
This account.
No, but no, it's too car for food at least. For the food, no.
Even for food? Sunroof on top of the sukkah?
No.
No.
On top of a
No.
car. Stop.
You open the window, as you park, you put the schach on. They carry the schach in the luggage.
He has like a portable scenario to eat in his car. It's a sukkah. I can understand the concept.
Let's continue.
He's gotta retrofit his car.
Let's continue. הלכה ו' אוכלים ושותים וישנים בסוכה. כל שבעה בין ביום בין בלילה. ואסור לאכול סעודה חוץ לסוכה. Okay, so this is the leniency that many people have. You go to Manhattan, there's nothing to eat. I mean, there's no sukkot available. It used to be. So if it's not a permanent meal, but bread, כבצה, you can eat outside. אלא אם כן אכל אכילת הרעי כבצה. Okay, so if you eat small amount of bread, even bread is permitted. או פחות או יותר.
What's considered a small amount, Rabbi?
Up to כבצה. It's like 2 ounces of bread. Now, it continues. ואין ישנים חוץ לסוכה אפילו שאינת הרעי. This is what the guy meant to tell you. Don't close your eyes outside of the sukkah. Bread you can eat outside of the sukkah. It's not permanent. Doze off. Okay. Fine. You can say it's only for the Middle East. You know, we have all the legal excuses. ומי שיחמיר על עצמו ולא ישתה חוץ לסוכה, יהיה the Rambam. If you can be strict with yourself and not to drink outside of the sukkah, אפילו מים. הרי זה משובח. He didn't say it and sleeping. And sleeping is asur. Period. When it comes to food, since you emulate your house, sometimes you take a snack outside, you take a drink outside. But remember, the bottom line is, Larry, is a general message. And the general message is, as we prepare for the winter, right after the Yamim Noraim, the lessons of the Sukkah, the Musha of the Sukkah, look, every year, and as when we used to have the Sukkah by us, now we go to the kids. So I used to have my Sukkah, obviously myself when my kids got married. You always hear noises from outside, you hear the squalls. This is part of the experience. Am I safe here? As much as I safe in the house, you understand? This is the message of the Sukkah.
So we started out with the Mishnah. So Rabbi Eliezer does not hold of the Gzerah Shabbat. Is that how you would have to say?
And Poland and Lithuania, where it was really cold in the
Yes,
later
the
part.
Rama gave us a good excuse, and the Rama says, since you have a room that is freezing, you wouldn't sleep there, so you would not stay in the
So
Sukkah.
that's the allowances they made in the cold, very cold climates. Russia.
This is exactly.
And is that why the Rama would come up with that leniency because of the difference in temperature than the Middle East? Right, just compared to the Middle East.
My father-in-law grew up in Winnipeg. He told me that sometimes in Winnipeg, in a year like today, snow, there was snow on the ground. He remembers as a kid, he told me every year, they couldn't go into the Sukkah.
I mean, it's a basic principle. The Torah doesn't want you to suffer. It doesn't want you to get sick. It doesn't want you.
What's the definition?
But he says, yeah, his father went slow into the Sukkah, they made Kiddush, I don't know, impossible.
Rabbi, when the Rambam said, Hareza Mishubach, and is this an instance of a Hidur mitzvah, or is this a Hidur? Because it comes from a Machmir. Is it, when you can...
Right. Meshubach really normally means it's a Hidur, yes. But באמת, you realize, כל המרבה לספר ביציאת מצרים, הרי זה משובח, right? So you are improving the Sipur, right? Here the Rambam says, if you drink in the Sukkah, just drinking, הרי זה משובח, because you're not eating bread. But listen carefully. If you are in the middle of the meal, a regular meal, then it's asur to go out to have a drink. Why? Because this is part of the meal. The Rambam is talking about when you're going only to drink. Let's continue a minute.
I mean, in other words, once you said
Started the meal there.
you can't.
This
you
is
can
the
come
point.
back.
Yeah, here we
Until
go.
you say
Yes. You cannot eat outside. You cannot say, okay, I'm going to bring food from the house.
And have a snack as you bring it in.
This is exactly what it means. Now look further. Look, now we're going into our topic. הלכה ז' אכילה בלילי יום טוב הראשון בסוכה חובה. אפילו אחר כזית פת יצא ידי חובתו. Okay? Even if you ate only, what is the אפילו, Larry? מה זה אפילו?
It's not a kibbutz. Like we said the rest of the day.
So now we're getting down.
Hear what Eli says? So what Eli says,
Less
even
than
though for the rest of the day, theoretically, you have to eat kabetza in order to must be in the sukkah. The first night, because we learn out from Sukkot, tetvav.
Even.
So he says, even if you ate kazait, of course you're better off eating more than kazait. Yes. Mikan ve'elach, for the rest of the days, reshut. רצה לאכול סעודה, סועד בסוכה. רצה כל 7 כן? רצה אינו אוכל כל 7 אלא פירות או כליות חוץ לסוכה. Yes. כדין אכילת מצה בפסח. Yeah, what's your question?
Why does the Rambam say Achila Belele Yom Tov? So is he talking to Chutz La'aretz people? Because it would be Belel Yom Tov if it was. And if it's Belele Yom Tov, what about a person like who has the problem? If he comes to Eretz Yisrael, does he have to stay 2 nights? Or could he, if he didn't really want to eat a sukkah, would he be okay to eat just 1 night? It's the same question you have with Chutz La'aretz people going to Israel, no?
Right. So again, it's the same type of question all the years.
Right, that's why I'm...
If you go straight with the halacha, the second night in Yerushalayim is the same as the first. Some people that have an apartment, that's a Steve, he has an apartment, and he goes regularly to Israel. You can look on him as he's really a member of Yerushalayim. Okay, he's coming to, but those who come only for Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, only Sukkot, it's very, very difficult. Shlomo Zalman used to say you have to eat with Sukkot. I mean, he's asking, you understand, his question is, you're American. Yeah. Second night for you would be the same as Bayah, so no, he's in Yerushalayim.
I've heard someone say that he spent all 3 holidays. It
depends on the rabbi you ask. It's
right.
fine.
I'm not asking Rabbi Prague.
It depends on the man. Now look a second. Comes the Rav Chida and says as follows. Since we're okay, Shulchan Aruch is basically the same as the Rambam. Chabar al-Zman. The Rav Chida wants to say that the same way you must have a kavanah by the night of Pesach to eat Hashem mitzvat matzah, right? Says the first night of Sukkot is exactly the same. What does it mean the same? Nice. After I make a douche, I tell everyone before we go out to wash, when you come back, be quiet, as I give you the first kazayit, and have in mind what? For mitzvah sukkah and mitzvah achila of this, because the tetvav, it's like a separate mitzvah, you realize?
Oh, there's the Chefs and the Gavra issue. There, right?
Take us 2 days to discuss it. I'm not starting now.
Oh, fantastic.
That says, look, I told my kids, have a kavanah when you eat the chali, yes, for mitzvah sukkah. Perfect. If you learn at the 12 b'chag hamatzot, that you have to eat a kazait no matter what, right? It's like a separate mitzvah. The Chida says you have to have a kavanah for mitzvah sukkah and to eat a kazait in the sukkah, which is the tetvav. Says the Chida, this is what he said.
I guess,
I have it here. No, he wants to know where is the two mitzvah.
You have a beracha for the masa.
So Paul is asking now a big a big question.
You have a achilat.
He says Shamot Yelech Min Ha'aretz Hashem.
That's why you have 2.
So Paul is asking, why don't we have a separate bracha the night of Sukkot? Asher Kedishanu Asher Kedishanu Le'achol Kazait Basukah.
He said
Chefsa, it's the Gavra, that's why. It's not about Sukkah.
Okay. So
wait, actually, I'm not even sure I understand the Pesach.
No. But see, this question of Paul really brings out the issue now. Yeah. Please listen good. What you meant, Chefsa and Gavra. Is the mitzvah really one mitzvah only to sit in the sukkah? How do you fulfill the mitzvah of sitting? By eating the kazait. So the kazait is not a separate mitzvah. The kazait is the way, it's a vehicle to fulfill the chidah.
But Rabbi, what happens?
If that's the case, when you should pass on the Sheba Sukkah and Kiddush and say it in the Hamotzi while it's a direct thing to fulfill
Okay,
the mitzvah.
this is also a good question, but first let's deal with your, let's.
Rabbi, what happens if I didn't want to sit in the sukkah and Rabbi Prague forced me to sit in the sukkah? He was my next like this, that the idea of
We need an hour to answer it, but we are continuing tomorrow anyway. This is a big topic. So again, the Chida says, אני רוצה לקרוא לך, לא תאמין, זה תשמע מה שהחידה מביא. The Chida says, this is 400 years ago.
She was on the report about why we have separate brachot.
The Kushia Chazaka, I mean, his question, Paul's question, brings out the issue. Again, is the mitzvah really one mitzvah? Sit in the sukkah. How would you fulfill it? Only if you eat bread. Or no?
Or is the
It's
bread
two
itself?
separate, it happens to be two separate mitzvot. The best example would be before I read you the Chida is, if it's really pouring, you remember a few years, last year, 2 years ago, Sfaradim are not going into the sukkah b'chlal. Ashkenazim, after an hour will go in, make kiddush. Twice in my life I did it. Yeah, with the raincoat, with the kids, my wife was
With the rain.
With the rain.
Right.
What is the point of going in? It's not the sukkah. The answer is, if the mitzvah is to eat a kazak in the sukkah, I did it now. It's not mitzvah sukkah. There's no sukkah here. It's raining. This machloket between Ashkenazim and Sfaradim, it's a seventh Rama, machloket rishonim. Should you eat no matter what in the sukkah has to do with this question. Is the mitzvah fulfill mitzvah sukkah through bread? If it's raining, there's no mitzvah sukkah. This
That's
is
why you have a
what
question.
it's for.
If there's a separate mitzvah,
If it's a separate mitzvah, I don't care now. I have to eat in the sukkah. This is the point. This is exactly the point.
Rabbi, that's why there's a question if you forgot or you're not sure if you said you
Correct,
have to do
correct.
Yaakov B'Bekat Mazon in the house, you're not sure whether you should repeat
Correct.
because did you have a provan?
Exactly, exactly. Listen to this. Listen to the Chida. Paul, Chida.
he writes them then.
The Chida says, "V'yizaher b'layla harishon shel Chag, לכוון באכילת כזית בסוכה שהוא חיוב דאורייתא כמו כזית מצה וירפינן בגזרה שווה." listen. ובספר זובח תודה למהר"ם עצבן, a Sephardi Gaon says that Rabbi Moshe Harari, one of the rabbis in Aram Tzobah, this is like 300 years ago, בליל ראשון של חג הסוכות, ate and went to sleep. נזכר שלא אכל כזית לשם חובה.
He didn't have it in mind. He ate it, but he didn't
Yes,
have it in
how?
mind.
Wash us again. This is exactly the issue, you hear?
The kavanah.
But remember, of course, we're going to show it's a big machloket in the Rishoni, but I want you to get the 2 points. Larry, you got it? Is the mitzvah sukkah. And the Gzerah Shavah is telling me you must fulfill mitzvah sukkah with the kazayit, or it's 2 separate mitzvot. Listen to this. Reb Shimon Sofer was the rabbi of Krakow. There are many fascinating stories about it. He says, I saw in my own eyes with my father, the Chatan Sofer. We ate, spent a long time in the sukkah. Then he was dozing off. Says, I went to sleep in the sukkah. After an hour, my father woke me up. He says to me, he cannot fall asleep. He says, why? I was very hungry at the beginning of the meal, he says. And I ate for mitzvah sukkah, but I didn't have. So he said, I cannot wake everyone, but you, I can tell you, please go into the house quiet, bring me this. One is in Aram Tzova, one is in Hungary. Again, they held that this is a separate mitzvah. Some strongly.
So he ate later?
He ate later another kazayit.
With a different kind of kavanah.
Full.
No,
because he didn't have the kavanah having the bread like a matzah.
Oh, this is why you say the sukkah.
But doesn't it double up? Hunger and
So
filling.
we say.
He didn't have the kavanah like having matzah.
That's one of the things is we point out about
Right. Now, תשמע טוב.
You say that.
We started with the Yerushalmi Ilai. On Erev Pesach, I'm not permitted to eat too much in order to be hungry to eat matzah.
So how does it apply to Erev
Does it
Sukkot?
apply to Sukkot or not? This question is the same question. If the mitzvah is to eat matzah, you have to be hungry.
Yeah.
If the mitzvah is to be hungry to eat a kazayit, you have to be hungry. If the mitzvah is to fulfill mitzvah sukkah, who cares if I ate a lot before?
Oh.
As long as you eat the sukkah.
But isn't that like every time we have a meal,
נכון, אבל אם זה ממש איסור או שזה הידור. So look a second.
Wait, do we have a pasuk that tells us that we're not allowed to eat
No,
matzah?
the Gemara allows it out.
No, but it's a doraita that you cannot eat.
No, it's definitely if you are not hungry, you eat the matzah.
No, I don't mean that you cannot eat.
חיסרון
No,
אם
that you
ידעו.
cannot eat before. Before
let's
the-
look-
the-
Okay, so go in your Rambam, Larry, go in your Rambam, פרק ו' בהלכות matzah. Now you are in Sukkah, go to matzah. Look at the Rambam in one word. חמץ ומצה, חמץ ומצה.
We're going to Pesach.
Right,
Consideration.
right. No, but look at the Rambam is מדקדק מאוד the way he writes it. תראה, look at the Rambam, פרק ו' בהלכות חמץ ומצה,
Yeah, I have that.
הלכה א', look. מצוות עשה מן התורה,
Yeah, for matzah. Yeah.
מצוות עשה מן התורה לאכול מצה בליל 15 שנאמר בערב תאכלו מצות, בכל מקום ובכל זמן. ולא תלה אכילה זו בקורבן פסח, היא גד as if you have קורבן פסח עונת, אלא זו מצווה בפני עצמה ומצוותה כל הלילה. אבל, מה אבל? בשאר הרגל, לא מצווה, אכילת מצה רשות.
No, there is a mitzvah if you
No, it's
eat it,
reshut.
but it's reshut. But it is a mitzvah if you do eat it.
You're not obligated.
Okay.
אכילת מצה רשות, רצה אוכל מצה, רצה אוכל אורז, לא אכלו כליות, לא פירות. אבל בליל 15 בלבד, yes? Now, the Rambam continues, and he says, so remember, you must. Let's see how the Rambam says it in Sukkah again. Here the Rambam told us, Eli, remember the language, מצוות עשה מן התורה לאכול מצה בליל פסח, correct?
Yeah, but it doesn't tell us in a
בסדר,
hunger
בסדר,
or
רגע. Let's go now back to the Rambam, פרק ו' בהלכות סוכה. Again, סוכה, פרק ו'. Right. The Rambam says,
Again?
פרק ו', הלכה ז', let's see how he writes. אכילה בלילי יום טוב הראשון בסוכה חובה. Why don't you say the same? מצוות עשה. If the גזירה שווה פה, yes? He's teaching me that I must eat this kazayit as the Chida understood, yes? Write the same language.
No, he doesn't say it differently. I mean, he ends.
No,
Different definition.
Okay.
He ends the halakha like that.
If you
He says it's the same thing like Matzah and Pesach. That thing, same exact thing.
Paul says that because the Rambam says that it's the same as Pesach, it's as if he wrote matzah. But you know, those
Go back to the introduction. What does the Rambam say? That Rosh Hashanah you have to call shofar, but when it comes to Sukkah, it says leishev basukah shivat yamim, not lechol basukah.
the mitzvah is only to sit in the sukkah, yes? Rambam, הרבה מדייקים את זה. The mitzvah is to sit, and the achilah is a way to see. Look, go in order. Really. Go to פרק ו' הלכה, yes? Sukkah. We saw before. In a second. פרק ו'. נשים ועבדים פטורים מן הסוכה. Yes, then he says, from which age היו חייב בסוכה?
first word is not.
Now look carefully again in הלכה ה'. Look, go to פרק ו' הלכה ה'. כיצד היא מצוות הישיבה בסוכה? Remember, he's telling us. So first
Shiva,
he's
what's the
telling us,
definition?
he's telling us you eat, you drink, you sleep, yes? Then he continues in הלכה ז' again. אכילה בלילי יום טוב הראשון חובה. Remember, hey and vav are the introduction. How am I fulfilling it? Now he's telling me, but first night you must. It seems clearly that you must as mitzvah yeshivat sukkah, not mitzvah, a separate mitzvah. It's a continuation with the halachot that the Rambam said before.
Part of it. It's not.
Otherwise,
It is a tutu.
what?
It is a tutu.
Right.
Because it's only one mitzvah, otherwise it would count two.
No, everyone agrees that
Is it
the
two
question they
separate
had
forms?
before is it's not listed in Minyan Mitzvot.
But is it part of
The Rosh Hashanah is teaching
Is it
you
a part A and part B?
you have to
Is it part A and
Okay,
part
well,
B?
yes, we started by saying that the Pesach, you have to start eating with being hungry, okay?
correct.
Where do we learn, where do we get that from? Is it
It's
mitzvah
not
d'oraita?
it's not all right. No one says it's all right here.
Okay, but you want to
Yeah,
learn,
no,
but
no,
what
no,
I'm saying is that
no,
you're saying we're gonna learn the Rabbanan from Pesach, that you go to Sukkot.
The question is,
Okay,
how far did Rabbanan go? You take it.
okay, I just,
We have to, there's two forward.
I mean, I believe you.
Now
I have to
we
see the Gemara.
open מסכת פסחים צדיק ט' עמוד ב'. פסחים צדיק ט', look with Paul. I'm looking with Rani. צדיק ט' עמוד ב'. Look at the Mishnah. You see the Mishnah Eli? ערב פסחים סמוך למנחה לא יאכל אדם עד שתחשב, right? Says that, look at the Rashi on top, לא יאכל, כדי שיאכל מצה של מצווה לתיאבון משום הידור מצווה, you see? Yes? Now Eli, look at the bottom, you have the Rashbam also there, Rashbam, before the white lines, לא יאכל אדם כדי שיאכל מצה של מצווה לתיאבון משום הידור מצווה.
So we don't have that, so we don't have a Hidur mitzvah with Sukkot.
But this is the question.
So,
If the mitzvah, if the Gezerah Shabbat says you have to eat
Then it applies.
the same as there, it's a separate
Yeah.
mitzvah. By every mitzvah, where you have achila, you do mitzvah to be right. If it's a mitzvah of eating in the sukkah to fulfill mitzvah sukkah,
It doesn't matter.
but we're asking about it because it was saying the rabbis established Hidur mitzvah. We should ask the rabbis, did they establish Hidur mitzvah with support? I don't see why we would, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're tying the Torah.
Well, there's
Shabbat to what the rabbis established.
Spelled out literally.
Prague, when they Rabbi Prague in the Hidur mitzvah, when they list the Hidur mitzvah, they say they say sukana. They don't say achila besukana. Come
this
on.
is a nice diuk. Okay. Eli is asking, why are we trying to link the hidurim of the mitzvah? The answer is, Eli, there is a rule in the Gemara many times. Call the tikkun rabbanan ke'ein deoraita tikkun, correct? How come at the second day of every holiday you will completely carbon copy? The answer is the same.
Yeah.
No, otherwise, okay, we have to celebrate the second day. Let's make a kiddush and eat something and finish. Let's do it exactly the way. But Eli is saying, even if there is a separate mitzvah, Eli says, maybe there's no mitzvah to eat b'te'avon. B'te'avon is like, hey, do over there, not here.
Yeah, I'm just saying the rabbis would
Well,
have
of course,
told
of
us.
course.
Would have told us
Yeah,
they
yeah,
established
yeah.
this thing with it.
For the sake of argument, the answer is 100% right. 100%.
Because
Nevertheless, I'll show you the minute. Yeah, look a second. Please go back. I'm sorry to back and forth. Go to the Rambam Perek Vav Milchot Chametz Umatzah again. Halacha Yud Bet.
In the Pesachim that you just read, right?
Yeah.
It says that you're not supposed to eat beforehand.
Correct.
So you're saying that, why wouldn't you say that for Sukkah? It says that the Shabbat.
Right, so Eli says, maybe we're not going as far. This would be like
By
Right.
saying
We're
it's
having-
The
saying-
answer is normally.
Why is
Why
it-
would you say?
why is
But
it
if
spelled
you
out?
said that for one, you say that, but it
Why
says
is that?
two, it says Shabbat also, that's
Oh,
why.
oh, so
Good
good,
point.
good. Look a second now.
Pulled it out, the next one. why not
Look
pull
at
that
look
first?
at the Rambam Perek Vav again.
For any,
It's exactly the same. It's very. In a minute you'll see it. You're like Perek Vav mechametz u'matzah. Yeah.
In fact, if that's the case, we want to look at Shabbat, we don't have one for Shavuot, do we? So there,
Why doesn't he say it there? Why doesn't he say it there?
הלכה י"ב. Look at הלכה י"ב. Vav mechametz u'matzah הלכה י"ב. You have it Vav י"ב, yes? אסרו חכמים לאכול מצה בערב בפסח כדי שיהיה היכר לאכילתה בלילה. This is מצה, מצה, yes?
let's take care of it.
היכר means you should recognize it, you're reading the one. ומי שאכל מצה בערב הפסח מכים אותו מכת מרדות. Remember yesterday the וידוי?
Whoa,
Yes?
pretty serious.
עד שתצא נפשו. וכן אסור לאכול בערב הפסח מקודם המנחה כמעט, כדי שייכנס לאכילת מצה בתאווה. יודיס? יודיס. Even before זמן מנחה קטנה, don't eat. This way you're coming into at night with an appetite. אבל אוכל הוא מעט פירות וירקות ולא. Now, החכמים הראשונים היו מרעיבים עצמם, they used to starve themselves ערב פסח כדי לאכול מצה בתאווה ויהיו מצוות חביבות עליו. Now listen to the brilliant language of the Rambam, Larry, listen. אבל בשאר ערבי שבתות, מה זה regular Friday afternoon, או ערבי ימים טובים, exactly as Eli said, the Rambam didn't say about Sukkot is different. He puts Shavuot and Sukkot and Rosh Hashanah in the same group. אוכל והולך עד שתחשב.
What's the last words in English?
You can eat until it gets down.
in fact, if you tell me, it's the same obligation on the 7th night of Pesach.
Right, the same
Then you should eat, but you're not allowed to eat. I don't know if that's true or
Right,
not.
right, no, the
But you
Rambam. But let's
But
see.
it's not on the matzah, not on the gavra. Matzah has something to do with the chetz itself, and then you don't have the chetz right.
Good. Let's look now. What was it?
No, but on Shabbat, that's the.
Yeah.
So matzah and bread of Sukkot are analogous, but
But you know,
Yeah.
Rabbi
not going
We
both.
have vegetables, whatever, can't have kibbutz.
Prague,
Yes.
Rabbi, there are different nusachot. You read your nusach at the last thing is different. My nusach is aval b'sha'arei arvei yamin tovim. It does not say Shabbatot.
Interesting.
Well,
Wow.
which edition is this now?
This one.
Yes, your edition. Your edition. Let's see.
And I know I could find all the differences, but it says
You see, like, look.
They edited it.
No.
And-
It's here, B'Sha'ar Arvei-
But what right did they have? Different
No,
sources?
Different
Different
not
sources?
right.
Stated which is yours? Yeah,
This is the accepted for the next 1,000
But I'm
years.
saying, but the
It's
source was
obsolete.
later, that they picked it because it's
They
the
picked
correct
it
one.
is because they have manuscripts.
They did the
more
research.
manuscripts.
So
It
they-
says Rabbi Prague. It says af b'kifei hayad le.
Have Shabbat, but in the translation, it has, it's.
It's fascinating. Thank you.
Sounds like CBS editing a little.
I can. If you want, I'll send you all the nuschot if you want.
No, but it's
Lot of
obvious. It's obvious. But Zat Hashem will
Rabbi,
continue. Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Alpha, the Hebrew doesn't have Shabbat, the English says Shabbat.
Here it is. It is
Who's the editor?
fascinating. No,
Who's the editor?
There is whoever did the English didn't have this manuscript.
Yeah.
You understand?
Probably when they're different
It's
text.
exactly that. They gave it to two different editors.
Yeah.
Right.
One-
Two different manuscripts.
Depends
To
who
be-
edited the videotape,
Eli, to be
Jeffrey.
honest, if you go in Pesachim, it's a machloket in the Gemara. One rabbi says that every Erev Shabbat and every Yom Tov you should not.
That's what I asked, because I
That's
eat
what
bread
I
at 3
thought,
o'clock
how
on Friday,
Pablo-
based on what I
Right.
just heard.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Rabbi Pratt, going to what you said at the beginning, Shabbat and Yom Tov, are they doraisas? Well, Shabbat surely isn't a doraisa. Going
Like,
back to what you said at the beginning.
everyone agrees that in the afternoon it's only with the Rabbanan. The Hidur mitzvah is to eat b'te'avot, yes? Tomorrow we'll continue on this question again. Is the mitzvah to eat the night of Sukkot part
Like
of
the
the
matzah,
general
yeah.
mitzvah
Or is it
b'Shivat
like the
Sukkah?
matzah?
Or it's a separate mitzvah? There are many other nafkaminos, yeah?
We're talking
Listen
about-
to this, the Tzlach is asking tomorrow about it.
It's, the first night is not, you wanna hold the first night is more special than the rest of the nights?
Yes, no, not only that, no, the question is the first night of Pesach, the Sukkot, exactly the same as Pesach or not? Which
We
means,
also talked
am I
about-
eating only because of mitzvah Sukkah, but I have to do it with challah, or it's two separate mitzvot?
They
Alright,
have a
Rambam
footnote
told
here that there's a
The
difference.
Rambam is very clear, the
It says
Rambam,
that- It says in the footnote that Rambam talks about, he says there's two different things, because you have the Echot Yom Tov and Echot Shabbat. And he changes the Echot Yom Tov.
if you have a chance, Larry, look at the Gemara, it's a dictator with better in the Gemara, you will see it's a machloket in the Gemara.
Could you fulfill the
He said-
obligation of Sukkot with maybe fulfill with pasta?
This is what
No,
we're
wait.
going to talk about.
The footnote here says that he's.
No, it's just Hamotzi, you have
Changes.
enough
Maybe you want
pasta.
8 ounces, what do you, 8 ounces of pasta?
Echot Shabbat, he said, Echot Yom Tov, he says you shouldn't really eat anything. And
Right.
then
You say
Echot
Hamotzi?
Shabbat, he says you can have
Yeah,
some.
right.
And why did this thing?
Tomorrow, we'll let us
You would
know.
imagine Shabbat is more stringent.
Shabbat,
He would be more stringent.
it says. that-
Like, what seven, what,
You can have.
Sukkah, so
Shabbat
we need-
and Yom Tov.
Look like a class.
That's where they come to both the contradiction.
During the
But
week,
Pesach,
during the week, put it on the bottom, put it on the bottom. Put it on the bottom.
So it's broken there.
Sukkah, the sukkah we need for this week.
So the 15 bring it to the shop.
You put it on the bottom also, put it on the bottom.
Came out nice.
Gorgeous, great, gorgeous.
I have a very good book, it says, but the fifth,
Maybe a lock piece.
Remember, my granddaughter and my daughter Pauline and my grand.